This is a 5 on your side local news update.
All right, good afternoon. You know, we started out pretty mild and now we are falling into the 30s. Now the wind advisory that prompted the issuing the weather advisory here is now expired. So that goes with that. And then we have the wind dying down even further as we get into this afternoon, but it's still quite gusty out there. I'll show you the current gust coming up in just a second here. But it's cold out there. Temperatures falling into the 30s and will be near freezing as we get into late evening. As we head into the weekend, though, notice the red in here. Weather impact alerts issued for later Saturday and into Sunday. It's just this bitter cold air that's coming our way, but I want to give you a preview of next week. Wednesday, look at that, 50 degrees for that high, and it looks like a nice stretch of milder weather. So today, let's start with that. The current wind speeds and gusts out there. Some of the gusts below 40 miles an hour now. Last hour, we had a few gusts to 40. Now it's at 31, 32 miles an hour in St. Louis. Sustained winds at 15 to 20. Wind chill still feels like the 20s out there. And then the actual air temperature falling to near freezing by 8 o'clock this evening, and then falling even further as we get into the overnight hours. So the futurecast wind, here it is at about 6 p.m. Some of the gusts to about 16, 17, 18, maybe 20 miles an hour. Not too terrible out there. And as we get into the 1 o'clock in the morning, it's still a little bit gusty, but below 20 miles an hour, and then calmer wind as we get into Thursday morning. But Saturday night into Sunday, it's that bitter cold air, and it's a little bit of a breeze, so the wind chill's down. Protect the pipes and also hats, gloves, coats. You need it all as we get into that weekend forecast. A little bit more on that in a few minutes. Camera shaking at Lambert. It is a very cloudy sky. And on the satellite radar shot, not much to speak of. We're trying to get these clouds to clear, but it looks like Phelps County is the only spot, maybe Reynolds County, where we're seeing some sunshine in there. Still very cloudy out there all the way through tonight. And the moisture, any moisture is moving on to the east of us here. But we'll watch several disturbances pushing in. One of them bypasses St. Louis southward. But we'll watch our northeastern counties in Illinois as we get into late Thursday, so that's tomorrow, and into the overnight hours early on Friday to see if we have any issues here with some of that light snow falling. And then we also have to watch Saturday. It looks like anywhere north of Interstate 70, but possibly along Interstate 70, another chance of light snow. And at this point, it's going to be all snow if it happens. And also we got to watch the track. It could shift a little bit further north or a little bit further south. And it's a light snow expected, but it's so cold that whatever snow falls would stick. So that's going to be an issue here. So here's that cold air coming right down into St. Louis, Chicago, and also D.C., all the way through New York and Boston, Quebec, getting in on that cold air as we get into Sunday. And Saturday's forecast about 28 for that high, watching that little disturbance riding the northwest flow into portions of Missouri and Illinois and Indiana. Then Sunday it should turn mostly sunny, but look how cold it is. 19 here in St. Louis, if we're lucky, 20 in Columbia, Missouri, and 6 for Springfield, Illinois, 10 in Chicago. So that cold air right on top of us on Sunday. Here's Sunday morning at 6 a.m. The wind chill below 0 in some cases and near 0 even in Forest Park. So not the best Sunday morning at all. You'll need to dress in layers, but some milder air is coming back into play. There's a chance of just rain on Wednesday of this next week coming up, and that forecast looks incredible. I'll show you the 10-day coming up. All right, so we have 38 degrees today, but falling further into the low 30s later today. 42 Friday, mostly cloudy. Saturday, just watching to see if that light snow sets up north of Interstate 70. 28 for that high, the low of 7 Sunday morning, and about 19 Sunday. But here's that 10-day forecast. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week, we're talking some 50s.
This has been a 5 on your side local news update.
Started out in the 50s, believe it or not, and then fell into the 40s, and now we're in the 30s. And of course, temperatures will continue to fall to the lower 30s as we get into later on this evening. And looks like a mostly cloudy sky. There might be some clearing in western counties. We're hoping for that. Then Friday, mostly cloudy, 42. And then we get into Saturday, 28 for that high. And there's a little disturbance coming in here. We'll watch Thursday late in the day and into the evening hours northeast of St. Louis to see if our northern counties, mainly in Illinois, could see a couple of snow showers in there. And then we have temperatures on Saturday cold enough to whatever snow falls would stick. And that could be right along Interstate 70 northward. We'll watch that little disturbance to see if that shifts further north or pushes further south. And again, it would be light snow or snow showers. 28 for that high. Then look at that low on Sunday morning, 7 degrees in St. Louis, 19 for that high, possibly even a little bit colder. A lot of sunshine. Then we get into Monday morning, temperatures in the teens, but highs on Monday rebounding with a southerly wind at 39, and it does look like milder air comes in here Tuesday at 45, and those overnight lows finally by Wednesday morning, we are above freezing, and then temperatures on Wednesday could very well be 50 with a chance of rain in here. Thursday, partly cloudy, 51, and then those overnight lows again above the freezing mark as we get into Friday and Saturday mornings, and temperatures Friday of next week at about 53. And at the end of the 10-day forecast, look at that high. Some of the models are going higher than 55 degrees, but right now we're keeping it at 55. So maybe we're going to get a nice stretch of milder air after that frigid blast for this weekend coming up.